Woohoo! Nutrition time. Let's do this. Let's get excited. I know you're all excited and a little nervous at the same time. But don't worry. Everybody's got to start somewhere. And bottom line, once you kind of go through what I've learned and what I've set up for you, you can't fail. You're going to be like, I love macros. I love nutrition. It's my strong suit. Okay, now there's a little glare to the board. Humble beginnings here. Just put up with me for now. So macros, you hear people all the time talk about what are macros? Well, macros are macronutrients. Okay, they're sources of energy that fuel our bodies. So, carbs, they're going to cost you 4 calories a gram. That's what that 4 is for. Fats, 9 calories per gram. And protein, 4 calories per gram. That's just something to know as you learn about food and calories. As far as when you're in a deficit, those numbers help learning, how much calories make up my carbs, my fats, my proteins. Okay, so let's begin. So 2 types of carbs. Simple carbs and complex carbs. Simple carbs have a high glycemic index. That's the high GI. What does that mean? Okay, so whenever you ingest food, your body breaks it down and it has to absorb in your small intestine. And then it releases glucose in your bloodstream. So, food that are simple carbs have a high GI index, meaning that when you consume these types of carbohydrates, it spikes your blood glucose levels. Okay? And then if they're complex carbohydrates, that's a low glycemic index or low GI. So that means when you eat these type of foods, your body, it takes longer to digest them. It takes more time for them to process into your system. That means when after your small intestine absorbs what nutrients it does, and then you release glucose to your bloodstream, it's a lower level of glucose. So typically, it doesn't spike your hunger levels to either high glucose and you kind of crash later. Complex carbs allow you to take in that energy, slowly digest it, and keep your blood sugar levels low. So what kind of foods are simple, high GI foods? So simple carb foods. America's favorite. Any type of chip, donut, bread, popcorn, basically sugar, candies, chocolate, all these types of foods, bagels, have a high glycemic index, meaning you're going to eat some of these, you're going to release a lot of glucose in your bloodstream. It's going to end up causing you to crash and burn. That's why after you eat like a nice high carb breakfast, when you go out to breakfast, you have some waffles, maybe some French toast. It's all delish, but next thing you know, you crash. And you're like, why am I so tired? Well, that's because when you eat these types of foods, it ends up spiking your blood sugar, and that causes you to crash in your mood, make you feel sluggish. So, we want to eat more complex carbohydrates, low GI, low glycemic index. So what type of foods are those? Well, your new favorites, that would be your veggies, man. Spinach, peppers, broccoli, fruit. Now, we're going to limit our fruit initially with low carb, but in general, just think complex carbohydrates, any type of whole foods from the earth. That's really what you want to eat. So what did Jesus make? What's coming out of the ground? Fruit, veggies, and then of course you got your meats, your animals, your fish. You want to eat as natural as possible. So again, simple carbs. We're looking at all the junky stuff that we all love. Okay? Complex carbs, more bang for your buck. You're not going to spike your blood sugar. These are slowly going to digest in your system, and you're not going to have that crash mood feeling. So veggies and fruit. Now, let's go on to fats. So we got to change our mindset on fats. I mean, the world tells you, oh, to lose weight, we gotta limit our fat, or at least some people do. And then you got some people that are on the extreme keto diet. And the goal of this program is not to put you in any type of extreme for a long period of time. Because if you're in an extreme for too long, no one can sustain that. It's not a lifestyle change. You'll end up going back to old habits and gain all your weight back. So the approach of this system that I've created for you, you're going to do 2 weeks of what's called a diet reset, or like a metabolism reset, you could call it. It allows us to become more insulin sensitive. How are we going to do that? It's going to be 2 weeks of low carbs, and it's going to be straight carbs, mainly veggies. Okay? Then, after those 2 weeks, you become more insulin sensitive. Then, we're going to start slowly adding more carbs in. And then, as you build muscle, as you get leaner, you can have more carbs. So, to fats. So, pure fats. Pure fats, that's going to be any type of oil. Whether that's olive oil, coconut oil, ghee, butter. That would be your pure fat. So typically stuff you would cook with, that's going to be pure fat. Now, I got the other little line saying some carbs. So there's other types of fat sources that are mostly fat, but they have some carbs in them. So that's going to be your nut butters, your peanut butter, your almond butter, your almonds, your peanuts, your cashews. Okay? I prefer personally to get my fat from these type of sources. It does take some of my carbs, but I'm not really one that, usually puts a lot of olive oil on stuff or butter. But if you prefer that, it's totally fine. You can do that and you won't use your carbs that way. Now we're going to move on to protein. Low fat protein and high fat protein. And I also need to add on there pure protein. Okay? So, low fat protein, that's going to be your white fish. Shrimp is pretty low fat. I got a bag of that here. Going along with also low fat, your chicken breast. Now, you could easily make these type of meats high fat if you loaded it in olive oil, put a lot of butter on it, right? But naturally, chicken, white fish would be tilapia, cod, mahi-mahi. All those types of protein sources are going to be mainly low fat, unless you add more with what you're cooking. Okay, and then high-fat protein sources, I don't have examples of those, only because I prefer to eat lean protein and use my fat in my nut butters. I'm going to slide this back just a little bit, so you can kind of see our display there. So, again, high-fat protein, you're looking at salmon, you're looking at beef, bison, they say is lean, but really you got to look at it. Some bison's still 85%, 80-20, just like beef. Salmon, like I said, it's good fat. It's higher in fat. And I also have a document that you all will get that has all this out visually, so you can see it with charts. I just wanted to also do it this way, just another type of visual aid to see if this helps you. As far as pure protein source, I don't have that pure / off the protein, but pure protein source would be egg whites. Those are pure protein. And mainly your white fish, chicken, those are pretty pure protein. You're not having a lot of fat in those. And of course, protein powder. So this is just to start, kind of an overview of our macronutrients. What are carbs, what are fats, what are proteins. Different categories for each. Now let's dive into the next section. You got this. Take notes. You're going to love to eat.